From construction to operating heavy equipment to commercial driving, students are able to get a hands-on experience to see what it's like having a career in skilled trades. More than 100 residents at Town Center Apartments are concerned about the future of where they're going to live. In August of 2021, they were told they needed to leave because of safety hazards. There are 70 families still living there. Not on your side.
Narrow driveways such as this one only allows for one vehicle to pass at a time. That's why the Kinston Housing Authority is not only improving this for residents, but for first responders responding to emergency situations. Well, Ken, a big hand in helping the flood issues is upgrading and upsizing, and approvals from city officials is making this all happen. At least 25 to 50 members of the community trickled out here tonight in honor and support of Khalil Jefferson and give comfort and support to his family during this difficult time. Michelle Tennant, one of the organizers, says the vigil will be all about family and friends sharing their stories and fun memories about Khalil, prayers from the family's pastor, and having a moment of silence for him over lit candles in his honor. Now, Tennant adds it's important for people in the community to help families who have a loved one that is missing.
We see things on the news, we think, oh, that's so terrible, I wish I could help, and here's a chance to actually help. So it's a horrifying thing to witness and to have to be part of, but it is very helpful to be able to have a concrete way to help and assist and come together with the community.
Now, Tennant says she hopes she can not only help Khalil Jefferson's family, but other families who have missing loved ones who are also dealing with grief. Now, coming up at 10 and 11 tonight, we'll hear more from people who were involved, as well as what this vigil means for the community moving forward. Live in Greenville, Adrianna Hargrove, 9 on your side. The one thing that I learned when talking to ECU Honors College students was their time and dedication giving back to the community that they call home.
ECU's motto is Servir, so service is deeply rooted in ECU's core values. So part of the Honors College, we feel like it's really important to showcase those values and come out and give back to the Greenville community.
One student says what inspires her to give back to the community is Greenville is the first place she calls home.
Volunteering and service is really, really crucial to being an altruistic, well-rounded person. I think it's really important, and I think that everyone can benefit from it.
Claire Hefner is majoring in supply chain management, so volunteering at the food bank gives her a taste of what's to come.
I hope to work at it through a nonprofit kind of basis. So if I could do supply chain in an organization like this, whether it's a food bank or any other type of nonprofit or organization that's impacting the community, I really would love.
Ambrina Rangar is the president of the ECU Honors College Student Council. She says being a leader and serving your community goes hand in hand.
I think to be a influential, prosperous leader and effective in community management and all that kind of stuff, you have to be on the ground and seeing what people need and want, and you have to be willing to do the work too.
Now, food bank coordinators tell me that once the produce is packaged, local agencies and local soup kitchens will pick them up and ship them out to families around the Greenville area in need. In Greenville, Adrianna Hargrove, 9 on your side.
My favorite time of the year, Girl Scout cookie season, is officially here, and there's a new flavor joining the lineup, the Raspberry Rally. The organization says the newest addition is like Thin Mints, but the cookie part is raspberry instead of mint. Well, if you're a Mountain Dew fan, you may want to try this. The company is releasing a new hot sauce. They teamed up with the Sauce Shop in Houston, Texas to create the Baja Blast hot sauce. Now, it's that time of the year the United States Postal Service is releasing their Christmas delivery deadlines. To ensure a December 25th delivery, cards and first-class packages must be sent by December 17th. News from overnight, several people are dead after a shooting at a Lunar New Year celebration in Monterey Park, California. One neighbor says the gunshots sounded like fireworks, and because of the celebrations in the area, he did not think much of it at the time. Now, right now, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office says 9 people are dead, but it's still unclear how many were injured. We could tell you so far, no one has been taken into police custody.
And on your sides, Adrianna Hargrove spoke with the NCDHHS about what parents should know ahead of buying those Christmas toys.
Well, here's a perspective. According to health experts I spoke with, the size of a child's trachea is approximately the size of this, a drinking straw. Not very big, and they say it's easy for toys to get lodged in their throats. Now, along with getting age-appropriate toys, Jerry Matson, a senior medical director for the Division of Child and Family Well-Being, says another thing to keep in mind is to make sure small parts on the child's toys don't easily break off.
But many toys like balls and other things are definitely not going to be for kids under 3. And I think some people even use like a little toilet paper roll. I'm not saying to say if it shouldn't be able to fit in there, it has to be big enough, but that's kind of a rule of thumb. We don't want a toy to be lodged or swallowed in an airway.
Now, Matson says what can make it worse is if a child has a cold. She says with a cold, the child's throat can be more restricted and smaller in size than normal. Now, Matson also adds to keep an eye out for those Christmas decorations. They can also be choking hazards for young children. Now, for other toy safety tips, we have that at WNCT.com. In the newsroom, Adrianna Hargrove, 9 on your side.
Who would have thought that a little black girl from a rural farm in a small county would grow up to be the highest law enforcement official in the 14th largest county in North Carolina.
And that little girl made history.
The glass ceiling that I broke here in North Carolina, what makes it extraordinary is that I am a woman of color. And I did break that glass ceiling.
Becoming the first African-American woman to be elected sheriff in Pitt County, the first African-American female sheriff in North Carolina history, and the 5th in the U.S. Dance says law enforcement wasn't her first choice. Working as a clerk at the Martin County Sheriff's Office is where her love for the law blossomed.
It was, not until then, when I was working at the Sheriff's Office in my community, or in my home community, that, I had a sudden epiphany one day that this is, I love coming to work. This is what I like doing. And so that started my career.
Dance says she wants to prove that women have a value in every aspect of life. So during her time in Pitt County, Dance moved up the ranks. And in 2018, she decided to run for Pitt County Sheriff.
I looked around me and I said, you know what? Nobody's story is any better than the story that I have had, that I've built. And I didn't feel like anyone else had as much experience as I did.
Dance won the 2018 election and was sworn in on December 3rd, 2018. And in 2022, she hit another major milestone by winning a second term as Pitt County Sheriff, a term she's currently serving.
It has been the greatest honor of my life to be the sheriff. A lot of thick skin has to come along with that because I faced something that no other person who was running for sheriff at that time had to face. Being a person of color and being a woman.
She realized with great achievements comes great challenges.
Picking and choosing the battles was most important for me because I learned that fighting a whole lot of battles will take you off from your game, will take you away from what your goal is.
Under Dance's leadership, she focuses on diversity, implementing programs such as the Women's Empowerment and Recovery Program, and also starting a GED program.
And if we can do something different or change the mindset of those people, then maybe we won't have that person coming back in to break into another home or to, commit another crime if we address the issues of why they do so in the first place.
The one thing Sheriff Dance hopes she can do once her second term is over is to be an inspiration to young black girls everywhere.
Dare to dream, work hard, have ideas, and get a seat at the table.
And that was 9 on Your Side's Adrianna Hargrove reporting for us. Dan says her resiliency and her strength keeps her going and serving those in Pitt County.
Well, we're just 2 days away from Halloween, and here at WNCT, we're highlighting haunted sites across the East, learning about the history and the spirits that linger in the area. And this week's Spooky Special, 9 on Your Side's Claire Curry takes us to Onslow County with more about the former USO building. Is over. It's game day out in Glendale, Arizona, where the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles will be meeting for the richest prize in all of football, the Lombardi Trophy. Our big game affiliate, Annalisa Gale, joins us live outside of Phoenix at the site of Super Bowl 57 with what fans can expect today. Annalisa? We begin this morning with an update out of Raleigh as we continue to follow the mass shooting that took place back in October. Austin Thompson, the 15-year-old suspect police say gunned down 5 people during the incident, has been released from the hospital and will now be held in a juvenile detention center. Members of the community say Dr. King did so much to push for equality and made it happen, but there's still more room for improvement.
If we return to those values of love, of compassion, of love for our fellow man, of humanity, of justice and mercy and grace, all of those things will exemplify what, Christ, but also what Martin Luther King stood for.
Several groups, including the Coalition Against Racism, marched from the CMF Center down to the courthouse, holding signs chanting messages of equality and justice.
We need to keep that sense of brotherhood and sisterhood together because we don't see that nowadays.
It's a very real problem. Like, it still exists, and I don't think it ever will go away, but there are ways that we can manage it so that, not necessarily that it disappears, but so that everyone still feels equal and included and stuff like that.
Father, we want to walk in more unity and in more love.
One keynote speaker says Dr. King was a, quote, drum major for justice, and describes Dr. King as a sacrifice for justice.
One scripture says there is no greater love than a man would have, that he will lay down his life for his friends. And that's what Martin Luther King did, and that's why we're out here for today.
But the most important message of all,
I don't know how far we got to go. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I do know this. I do know that God created us all, and ain't nobody better than nobody else.
Have that love, bring that love back, keep that love in the heart, share, be kind to one another, respect, That's me, that's what I'm all about. I'm sure that's what Dr. King was too.
Now, after the march and rally at the courthouse, members of the community ate together at a people's feast at the Moywood Community Center. Now, to see more on the march and the continued message of unity, you can head on over to our website at WNCT.com.